1 week after their epic failure to impeach Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas over his handling of the border, the House GOP is set to vote on the measure again today. And it's not because they suddenly found any high crimes or misdemeanors, which, of course, is the constitutional threshold for impeachment. It's because they think they have the votes. Last week's defeat was handed to House Republicans by a trio of their own: Ken Buck of Colorado, Tom McClintock of California, and Mike Gallagher of Wisconsin. Now, with Majority Leader Steve Scalise returning to the Capitol this week after receiving cancer treatment, Republicans are hoping they have the single vote they need for the effort to succeed. And there's also concern over the potential impact of today's special election in New York to replace George Santos. If Democrat Tom Suozzi pulls off the win, Speaker Mike Johnson can only lose 2 GOP lawmakers on any vote going forward. Let's bring in Democratic Congressman Daniel Goldman of New York, member of the House Oversight Committee. Congressman, impeachment, you know, it is for high crimes, it is for misdemeanors. Do you see any here?
No, nothing even remotely close. There's no crime, there's no misdemeanor, much less a high crime and misdemeanor. And in fact, what has happened for this entire Congress is that the Republicans have attacked Secretary Mayorkas and President Biden for the issues at the border, while they are going to court to undermine and prevent the Secretary and the Biden administration from implementing policy changes. When that's not enough, the President and Secretary Mayorkas spend months negotiating a bipartisan deal to address the situation at the border, which goes further than any Democrat has ever gone before. And all of a sudden, after claiming that the administration needs to address the border, the Republicans and Donald Trump decide, no, we don't really want to solve the problems. We want the problems so that we can run against the problems. And that is incredibly cynical, and that's what this is all about. It is taking a scalp for Secretary Mayorkas for the MAGA base and trying to lay the blame at his feet for a situation at the border that needs to be addressed, but can only be addressed by legislation, not by executive action.
Congressman, let's talk about the math here. Of course, the Republicans rushing to vote on this today ahead of the results from today's special election in New York in case their razor-thin majority gets even thinner. Do you think they're going to have the votes for this today?
I don't know. I assume if they're calling it that they do after last week's debacle. But the damage has been done. When you have 3 members of your own party who stand up to what is a strong push from Donald Trump, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and all of the extreme far right, and they say, you know what, this just doesn't meet the standard for high crimes and misdemeanors, and I care about the Constitution more than I care about my party. Mike Gallagher, 2 days after he made that vote, announced that he would not be running for re-election because there is no place in this Republican Party for someone who wants to do the right thing, not whatever the thing that the party wants. And it's a sad reflection of this Republican Party, but the damage was done. They didn't pass this last week. It is clear that not only the Republicans but the American people recognize that this is a complete sham, this is a political exercise, and they should reap the consequences at the ballot box in November.
Well, and you're already seeing that play out, as you well know, in that New York special where you have Tom Suozzi actually jujitsuing that argument, saying it's actually his Republican opponent, other Republicans who are responsible for this. You talked about Secretary Mayorkas and the need for this to be comprehensive reform. I want to play just a little bit of sound of what the Secretary himself had to say on Meet the Press with Kristen Welker. Take a listen.
They're baseless allegations, Kristen, and that's why I really am not distracted by them and focused on the work of the Department of Homeland Security.
Do you bear responsibility for what is happening at the border, what the president himself has called a crisis?
It certainly is a crisis, and we don't bear responsibility for a broken system, and we're doing a tremendous amount within that broken system. But fundamentally, Congress is the only one who can fix it.
I just don't understand, Congressman, how you can vote, if you're Republicans, if you can hold up sending resources to the border and then cry, hair on fire, about how there is a crisis that you've demonstrated no interest in actually solving. Certainly voters, too, will see through that.
Well, take it one step further. Now, Speaker Mike Johnson is saying that he won't bring the international appropriations supplemental bill to help support our democratic allies in Israel and Ukraine, in Taiwan, to provide humanitarian aid to the Palestinians in Gaza. He will not bring that to the floor unless it addresses border security, which the Senate just did in a very, very detailed, comprehensive, bipartisan solution. So it is even one step more cynical than what you're describing. But I do think Tom Suozzi has done an excellent job of framing this issue. The Democrats want to reach solutions. We are willing to reach across the aisle and figure out how to solve the problems. The Republicans want to tear down our system, and they don't want solutions. And what Tom Suozzi is running against is someone who has eventually, after hiding, made it very clear that she is simply a rubber stamp for Donald Trump. She will be on a national abortion ban. She will be in opposing, for very politically cynical reasons, a border security bill. And ultimately, she doesn't have the knowledge, experience, or understanding, in addition to her own shady financials in the wake of George Santos, to win that seat. And so I urge everyone in Long Island, Queens, to get out and vote before the polls close tonight. Every vote really does matter in this election.
When you talk about this dynamic in the House, it's also why I think some progressive Democrats, immigration advocates, for sure, hope that there is a path forward that also includes something for folks who are on the interior specifically, that there is an appetite to do something for Dreamers, which we both know has bipartisan support from folks across this country. I want to ask you quickly, you mentioned Mike Gallagher from Wisconsin, who voted against the impeachment last week. He has announced he's not running for re-election. That would seem to not bode well for semi-reasonable members of the GOP constituting a larger part of their caucus.
Yeah, there's no question. That's right, Alicia. I mean, the Republican Party has been co-opted by the extreme right. And I say that because there are numerous bipartisan bills that have been cleared through committees here that are waiting to get on the House floor. But the Speaker will not bring them on the House floor because the extreme MAGA right views bipartisanship as a four-letter word. And because the Speaker will need them for more critical votes down the road, he doesn't want to anger them by putting bills on the floor that will potentially upset them. And that includes the Ukraine funding, which is supported by probably 70% of the House, but will not reach the floor under Mike Johnson because he's been co-opted by the extreme right. This is not the Ronald Reagan's Republican Party, and we're seeing that in their opposition to international aid to support democracy around the world, and we're seeing that in their extreme views and holding the House and Congress itself hostage to these extremist views.